Two of WWE's best stars, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, have just been formally handed new brand endorsed by Rhea Ripley and Damian. Judgment Day included Priests. Little did Ripley know that he was only seconds away from reclaiming the Women's World Championship finals at SummerSlam when she was. Dunk Mysterio betrayed him when he chose to align with Liv Morgan. A comparable startling event was awaiting the arrival of the Priest Damian, who was turned in his back by Finn later that evening. The loss of Baylor's World Championship. Therefore, the two celebrities were expelled from the group in light of the upcoming verdict. Combined with Liv Morgan, both celebrities are now untitled. You go on a quest for vengeance by entering Celebration in Berlin, where they intend to engage in a tag team bout, including, despite Damian, Rhea Ripley, and just started calling each other their horror siblings, whose group's moniker has changed to transformed. Both of them become officially acknowledged by WWE as the Fearsome Twins, upon whom the designation of social media commenters, people who were formerly known as, whether it's the end of the world or some other date, even though they were involved with the initial group that Edge Adam established. Copeland wrote well, from now on, they'll be referred as the World Wide Web and the Terror Twins. On Monday night, they will be pleasantly surprised in its raw form when the firm formally verified the rebranding of two of the famous actors and actresses. The news had been announced by Damian the Priest, tricked up for weeks before finally released. Bangs reverberated throughout the changing room and many admirers, ushering in a new era for the two. A tempest of superstars. Conjecture for many weeks, WrestleMania had been whispering undertones suggesting a major development approached Ripley and the Priest simultaneously. The camp of the Day of Judgment that had reigned supreme for more than a year was, along the process, mysterious tweets, behind-the-scenes scenes brimming with intensity, in addition to an enigmatic video bundle that showered SmackDown with tiny glimpses, dark shadows, devotees, and bolts of lightning, conjectured ceaselessly in an attempt to understand. Would they proceed with their plan B, leave the Judgment Day behind, preparing to go out on their own, or was anything different that is being planned? August brought the long-awaited response episode of Raw, which aired on the 21st. Big changes were in store for the name, as predicted. Start the evening with the usual uncooked excitement. However, there was a subtle feeling of excitement building up to the second half an hour into the program, though the arena's illumination decreased and the known theme for the Judgment's arrival. It started with D. Perform, but something wasn't right. A darker, more dramatic, and slower-paced music emerged, showing a change in mood. Ripley, Rhea, and a priest named Damian came out of the wings, part of town, strolling hand in hand as scary expressions were swapped over with seems to be. The audience went into a frenzy in a variety of to celebrate with alcohol, but none. There's no denying the air is charged with energy. The superstars sported their latest ring attire. Attired in black and silver, Ripley is accompanied by a priest with a hat and spikes above her shoulders. The ensemble of dark red and black that created, he seemed much more intimidating as they enhanced. On their approach to the platform, the analysts allowed the chance to speak while remaining mute. Independently, once it's within the ring, Ripley spoke to the WWE audience while holding a microphone. Universe, we've been a force to be reckoned with. She started out with a steady voice, was and influential, but we are more than just members of the Day of Judgment. We're an additional, more powerful item that we are. Damian, the reincarnated priest, stepped up to the microphone. Subsequently, his voice's low resonance. In the arena, it's more than simply a fresh chapter. A whole new book has been released by this. Soon as this is over, we will not be once known as Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. People in the audience were becoming really excited as the camera focused on the religious leader's fervent statement. Our company is the Destroyers. Destroyers knew in the midst of destruction, everyone was informed eliciting a resounding response from the WWE. The Destroyers, known as the Cosmos, flawlessly encompassed cold, uncompromising stance that, along with the priest Ripley had delivered to their, is comparable. The name had great potential, devastation, supremacy, and an incessant. The new names in the quest for triumph weren't only cosmetic alterations, they indicated a more profound changes that last for weeks. Hurston, the clergyman, had been shaping his personalities, sharpening their concentration and brutality about their objectives. The change in name was the last stage of evolution, message sent to the remaining members of the roster. In the same way as the Destroyers, they were free from the regulations of their dominance on Judgment Day. They were on a firm mission in order to destroy everyone who dared to defy them. How it will affect the Day of Judgment. The news was met with swift consequences, as well as Finn Balor on the Day of Judgment. Backstage, Dominic Mysterio was seen. Following the progress of the announcement on Observer, Balor's countenance concealed deep thought as Dominic made his entrance. Clearly seemed uneasy about the authority. It was evident that the choice made by Ripley and the priest would have long-lasting consequences, since the dynamics inside the faction had changed. Impacts in the days before this, at the time when there was impending conflict, amid the expanding Ripley's Judgment Day preeminence and the growing influence of local clergy, hostile attitude has spawned rift, in which Balor often finds himself disagreement with his business partners involved in the rebranding. Change in belief indicated that preparations were underway for Ripley and the priest to, apart from the group that, on their way to status behind the scenes, secrets circulated, similar to wildfire, had finally arrived, signaling the final day, just as followers had anticipated. Should Dominic and Balor be compelled to change the organization, or would they plot retaliation against the priest and Ripley because of their felt betrayal from WWE fans? Was still have many unanswered questions, and WWE desired that outcome in particular. What is next for Destroyers, who have changed their name, and Annihilators' identities, about to shock the world with Raw? After the news, the two released and invites all tag teams to participate in roster. Someone rose to the challenge. Surprising union of Kevin and Sami Zayn. Owens and his two once rival rivals, who had just agreed to work together as a tag team. Battle with Ripley was severe. Priest, who showed no compassion to the newcomer. The fighting technique was more brutal than preceding the delivery of bone by Ripley. Crippling blows, and Priest used his authority to control both Owens and Zayn. Ripley struck Zayn to finish the contest with her newest finisher, the accounting. Then the priest administers a very painful chokehold on Owens while the official tallied up to 3. The ring was filled with Annihilators, their absolute power. Without a doubt, WWE fans were aware that it was just the start. Hurston, the priest's eyes were fixed on the uncooked. It was only a tag team championship. Eventually, they would assert their ownership over. The Annihilators were rechristened as Gold, constituted a watershed moment in their respective careers of Damian, Reverend. It was an oath of departing from the Day of Judgment, and risky step that established them as a pair of very lethal teammates in WWE has taken on a new persona.